Hey, good day to all you good people that are tuning in today. For those of you who are coming across my profile for the very first time, nice to meet you. My name is Chantal, friends call me Sean, and I help business owners build personal brands of their own online through the power of simple content creation while designing a process that they love with a client list of folks they love to do business with. So today, what I'm going to be diving into is the roadmap that I'm going to be using to 7 figures online. I actually created a banger of a doc for my clients a couple of weeks ago, breaking this down, and after receiving a heap of interest from my audience, I thought it would be a cool idea to jive on it and run a quick training/video on it so that you can get some insights into how my daily operations work and the very simple process that I've been using for 2 years to create very close on multi-6 figures to the brand, and the very process that I will continue to double down on to my first 7 figures with just a few injections to actually scale it. Now, I can't say that when I started this journey almost 4 years ago now that I ever dreamed of creating a 6-figure income from it. And if you told me multi-6 figures, I probably would have called you mad at the time. Now, my hopes were to replace the income that I was getting at the time and not ever have to go back to a 9-to-5 in my life. And now the crazy part is that what I've sold every single day for 2 years on average equates to what I made per month back in that job. I actually received a message from one of my coaches, who I know won't mind me sharing about this anyway, plus you'll hear me talk about him a lot through the roadmap, but he was chatting to me about the fact that I was almost about to become a multi-6-figure earner, and then the marathon that it was going to be towards 7 figures. And I've really had to sit in it for a minute, to be honest, because now I don't think it's that crazy to actually get to 7 figures. Totally think it's possible. And it all really just started with one decision. And that was investing in the change I wanted for my life and then repeating that decision day in and day out until I actually realized the dream. Now, there's a key thing from, what I've discussed at the beginning of this, which I will zoom in on throughout the rest of this, and that is repeating the decision day in and day out. This has been a key part of my strategy for the last 2 years specifically that has changed the trajectory of the brand and catapulted my results and relationships. Prior to that, I was on the struggle bus on my online journey. I quite literally jumped at every single new opportunity that was presented to me. I went from one course to the next. I changed the methods and strategies I was using every other week. And as a result, I never got enough momentum in anything I was doing to actually crack it. Because the reality is this, right? As you start to navigate your own path online, you'll soon learn that there are hundreds of different ways to actually do things to gain success. And the secret of those that actually win is finding something that they absolutely align with and believe in, both in terms of their product and service, okay, and a proven strategy and methodology. Plus, invest in either a mentor or a coach that can actually help them collapse timeframes and furnish them with the support they need to reach those specific goals. Once you hit action on that, then they stay with it for long periods of time, at the very least 6 to 12 months. I realize that that doesn't sound sexy to a lot of folks, nor will the fact that building an online business will actually take effort and work. It is the consistent implementation of income producing activities that you have to show up for if you want the cogs to start turning. And it's normally going to involve learning and mastering an entire new list of skills. I would rather folks know exactly what they're getting into than spin a get-rich-quick story. But the upside is, if you choose to stick with it, right, life is going to look very different in the years that follow. Now, with that in mind, my process and strategy has been and remained the same since I locked arms with Group Juice in April of 2022. Funny story, actually, because I've been ignoring messages from Flip, who is the co-founder and creator of Group Juice, for over a year. And the reason I eventually responded was because after 18 months of that shiny object syndrome and jumping from different, courses and methods and strategies, etc., I decided to circle back to where it all started. Now, in 2020, my first purchase online was the Super Affiliate Accelerator, which was created by Jacob Karras, and he partnered with Jamie Gardner and Chris Donnelly. And to this day, it is known as one of the best courses you could have gone through online, no matter if you were brand spanking new or whether you were a seasoned marketer. And those trio of experts involved offered incredible support. It's no longer available, unfortunately. However, I totally recommend you go and give the gents a follow, as they've played an instrumental part in the foundational parts of my business and are an absolute wealth of information. Unfortunately for me, I was sold on get rich quick, and I was looking for that microwave money that was being promised in 1,000 different places online, and I felt completely off track in 2020. And I was literally trying everything, right? I tried done-for-you systems and programs. I tried a program which was giving you task-based commissions. I was trying paid and solo ads, very, very expensive with very low return on investment back in 2020. I was trying long-winded sales calls. I was spending hours and hours on Zoom calls, which was nuts at the time because I'm actually in a country where electricity is terrible and so is the internet. I was mass adding friends, I was doing cold DM outreach, I was doing group harvesting, I was spamming links all over the place. Now, not only did I feel a heap of burnout, but none of it really made me feel that good. And there was no fun in my business and was chasing the money so hard that I missed the fundamental parts of building this type of business and not making any money, right? So in one last wild attempt at making all this work, I did a little bit more due diligence on the direction to go next. It really mattered to me to make the right call, as time and money were things I just didn't have to waste at all. I continually follow and have massive faith in Jacob Karras, and so when he started dropping info on a short course he had on lost profits in your business, it made sense at the time to jump at it, which completely changed my mindset around asset and offer creation in an online business, and totally opened my eyes to the possibilities of building a personal brand without all the shit I'd already gone through. At some point in one of the training sessions, he mentioned Flip and his partner Nate, who is the other co-founder and creator of Group Juice, and that they just launched their signature program. And there were key points he mentioned that really piqued my interest, which was building a process which involved no sales calls, eliminated mass adding friends, removed the need for cold DM outreach. They were using content leverage. Everything was centered around group growth and monetization, and there was lifetime weekly coaching support included in that. Now, a handful of those things I both wanted to remove and inject into my business. Without hesitation, I actually opened that message that had been sitting in my inbox from Flip for a year and hit him up, and proves how far a recommendation from someone you trust can actually go. And one thing that stands out from that conversation we shared at the beginning was just how non-business related it actually was. We talked about everything else, and we'll always remember how Flip was actually interested in my story. He cared about where I'd actually come from online and where I actually wanted to go, which was really refreshing when on every other occasion, online marketers were on a very hard pitch in the DMs or on sales calls and chasing profit in their business. And once the payment was made, it was like ghost town over in the DMs. And the crazy part is, once he told me I had pit bulls, it was all he really needed to say to get me to say, send me the checkout link now. I totally trust folks with doggos, but it also just proves how low pressure a sales conversation can be if you're actually genuinely interested in the other human being. So my journey began with Group Juice and the amazing duo who are honestly the family I never knew I needed. And some amazing things have actually happened as a result. So I went on and smashed 10K in profit in 19 days once I actually hit go on the strategies that they teach in their 4-day workshop. I won a total of 3 affiliate contests and nabbed myself some awesome prizes. Actually, this Blue Yeti microphone, which was awesome because prior to that, I was actually using a microphone on the computer, which sounded absolutely terrible. I nabbed myself a 1-to-2 coaching call with Flip and Nate, a copy of Breakthrough Advertising, and so started my love of copywriting. And I've also won a $1,000 cash prize. After the 1-to-2 coaching call, I actually locked in my first 6-month investment in the Core Accelerator in May of 2022, and I've been a client ever since. Flip and Nate invited me to join the Group Juice team and help with things behind the scenes. In March 2023, I actually launched my own coaching offer and onboarded my first 2 clients. Absolutely amazing, one of the key things I love in my business. May 16th of 2023, I hit my first 6 figures from a slew of different products and services sold online. November 2023 was the launch of a 10-month intensive content bootcamp where I hit a record 16K in 6 weeks. 2024 has seen the launch of the Community Collective over on School. Flip and Nate have transitioned the combo of their communities and in full support of its growth and to make an impact with many folks who are part of it. And July 2024, at the time of recording this, and actually knocking on the door to multi-6 figures online. And I can honestly say that it has not always been easy, right? The ebbs and flows of entrepreneurship are real, and there's no way the person that gets you to 10K will be the same one that gets you to 100K. The only reason things have happened as they have is because of the commitment to the plan and the support that I've actually had in my corner. So even when I felt like I sucked, nothing seemed to be working and I wasn't getting there fast enough, even when the majority were going a different way every couple of months and on to the next thing, even when I felt scared shitless and uncomfortable as anything at doing new things, showing up and sticking with the steps over and over again built the reps, the skill, and the momentum. And having someone, and in my case, two badasses, to lean on who already have the things I want, built the determination and faith in that plan, which was simple, but not easy, right? As I get closer to hitting the multi-six-figure milestone, it only makes sense to get a roadmap in place to start that marathon to 7 figures. And to be completely honest with you, not much will change in the direction I've been headed for the last 2 years straight. It would be crazy to break something that actually works so well for both myself and my clients. And the only thing I'm in the never-ending pursuit of is to make things simpler and leaner, and injecting strategies to scale what's already in place and leverage the crap out of it, right? So let's dive straight into the strategy. One thing to take note of as we start to dive into the strategy of the roadmap from multi-6 to 7 figures is that this will work for folks who are brand new, all the way to seasoned marketers, no matter what it is that you actually sell online. This is the simple process I've implemented day in and day out since hitting go on it in 2022, and will continue to be as we progress, and is a combo of number 1, simple content creation and distribution, number 2, group and community cultivation, number 3, relationship building, and number 4, offer creation and delivery. So let's dive straight into number 1, simple content creation and distribution. Now, there are 2 significant light bulbs that went off as I started to inject this entire process. And that is that when content creation is highly leveraged, it can and does a lot of heavy lifting on the front end of the business and takes all the pressure off the sales process. And secondly, when you optimize it to help your audience take the next step and join a group or community of your own, you can build relationships at scale where you can take your audience on a real long-term journey. Powerful combination. And if I could go back to the very beginning, it's where I would be driving all of my energy, getting at least one piece of content out there a day and building a group of my own. Because of my own challenges out in Zimbabwe, there's been different phases I've gone through with content creation and distribution, right? So the very first phase that I went through with content creation and distribution, I'd say was over a 6-month period, and we'll call this the building phase, right? So I initially focused on creating content on Facebook, and I built in a second layer with TikTok for the distribution of short form video. This was the building phase of my brand and was the very first step in really starting to get visibility and omnipresence. Now, this rapidly grew my group by 200% in under 2 months and has steadily grown since. And that's what helped me generate 10K in profit over a 19-day window, as my brand was seen by thousands more eyeballs, which resulted in more traffic and sales opportunities. The second phase of my content creation was probably over around 18 months, and we can call this the stacking period, right? So over time, I started to build in other platforms to repurpose my content and build omnipresence with the brand, and was using this purely to maximize my reach and get my brand into different spaces. This is where I had the opportunity to stack my documentation and create a strategy that helps me create a minimum of 300 pieces of content a month. Every single platform is designed and works differently online. So unless you have a specific strategy in place and take the time to grow your brand in those spaces, then you won't extract as much traffic. However, they've all grown slowly and steadily and have really started to gain a bit more speed and traction, as you'll come to learn more about throughout this. It's not about the virality and metrics, but rather having an ultimate goal in place for what you want your content to achieve and the message you're really hoping to transfer to your audience. So the third phase of my content will be this period now where I start to scale things. So as we step into this new season, it will be about taking what's already in place and actually scaling it, right? And this will be achieved through optimizing my favorite platforms and injecting proven strategies to grow the brand even further and create massive awareness to make more impact. And the focus platforms outside of Facebook, because honestly, Facebook has really been good to me personally in terms of audience and growth and will remain my primary house. But outside of that, I'm really focused on Instagram. I recently invested in an Instagram Reels course to help me start to grow my audience at speed over on that platform. And these strategies have worked in a big way for other creators, and I can see the potential on the platform. And the other one is YouTube, right? So this is another platform that excites me personally because it does not tie me to geolocation, and my primary reach at the moment is actually in the US. Plus, there's an option to monetize it once you grow it to a specific size and get specific views. Plus, it's really handy for growing your relationships at scale because it's a place where folks can actually binge watch your longer form content. The other layer I've recently built in and is purely a test for the next 3 to 6 months is paid ads. Now, I can tell you that I shied away from this in the past because I wasted thousands of dollars on them pre-2020 and didn't get an ROI on it. However, we had an expert come and hang out with us over in the Core Accelerator, which is a huge perk of being part of a community and a coaching group like this, is the proximity it puts you in with other leaders. And the topic was based on ads, and how when you have the right strategy in place, it can further help your organic game. And little side note on this, there is a time and a place for different pivots in your business, and would highly encourage you to go through each phase of your business and not just jump the gun. So if all you have is a Facebook account to start with, you can still grow your business to 6 figures without anything else. It will serve you far better to apply and master a skill before actually adding in any extra layers. Let's dive into the step-by-step content flow and distribution of my daily content plan and goal, and we'll chat about every single platform where I'm posting content. So let's get started with your Facebook profile. Now, with your long form written content, I highly recommend that you be creating and distributing a minimum of 3 to 5 posts per week. And with your short form video content, I highly recommend you be doing at least 2 per day, especially at the beginning of your journey, which you can then repurpose from either TikTok or IG. Totally depends on where you create your short form. I would recommend testing the functionality of each and all of the tools and find what works for you and what is simple. I love creating all of my short form videos over in TikTok and IG. There are a slew of ways to do it. The call to actions on all of my content are optimized to complement my goal, depending on what I hope the content will achieve. And that can be anything around if you want to grow your group, if you want to actually grow your followers, if you want folks to raise their hands to some sort of resource or training that you have available, if you want to increase your engagement. So really be mindful when you're actually creating your call to action of what the next step is that you want your audience to take. And then when we dive into your Facebook group, again, I would recommend a minimum of 3 to 5 pieces of long form content in there per week. Your group should be a place where you really start to nurture your audience and give them insights and overviews on what it is you do and how you actually help them. And here you can really start to deliver on things like templates, resources, trainings very similar to this one. You can break down different frameworks. You can run, live events. You can do, live trainings. You can run an interview series, very, very popular, to actually use as lead magnets to build out your group and give your audience a reason to go on the journey with you and help them on their own. And you can package amazing experiences in your guide section for folks to really get to know you from the get-go. The next place I go on and distribute content is emails. One of the biggest assets you'll have in your business is your email list. And when you optimize your group the right way, not only will you be able to do a lot of market research and collate content ideas and conversation starters, but you can really start to build that list. And so this will act as another touch point with your audience, with your daily content. And if all else fails on social media, you'll be able to keep in touch with folks you already have a relationship with. Now, there's plenty of service providers out there. I personally use Aweber and will send a minimum of 3 emails a week, which are normally repurposed from either my group content or my profile content, just depending on the goal. Now, when it comes to your short form video content, there's going to be numerous platforms that you can distribute on. Like I said, at the very beginning stages of all of this, I was primarily using Facebook and TikTok, and then I built in different layers, most specifically around platforms that I enjoy and that I use myself and that I found simplicity and functionality from. And the ones that I distribute on now are Facebook Reels, TikTok, IG Reels, Threads, X, LinkedIn, YouTube Shorts, Facebook and IG Stories. I know that there's Pinterest. So, you can either be starting with just Facebook Reels as a standalone and then build in the other layers later. And would definitely say, test the functionality, play around on different platforms and actually find what works for you. Again, I use them solely for distribution purposes and wasn't spending masses of time on there trying to build an audience, but definitely something that I will start to do now as I scale the content. And again, the call to action should be optimize for your content goal. Early on, the only priority for me was growing my group, which I highly recommend you focus on at the beginning too. And then later on, it shifted towards other parts of the brand, depending on the season I was actually in. If all you focus on is at least 1 long form piece of written content on your profile and group a day, plus 2 short form videos per day repurposed from TikTok to Facebook, it will be enough to start the momentum and growth of your brand. And again, just find what works for you in your pockets of time. Everyone's got different pockets of time available to build their online brand. So some people are doing this full time. Some folks are actually doing this, within a 1 to 2 hour period. So there's no need to complicate things and just keep things simple and lean for as long as possible. So once folks start to take the next step and join your group and or raise their hands to different things you have available, you can get to the start of actually building relationships. Now, one huge takeaway I took early on with my journey with Flip and Nate is relationships over revenue. Now, my background in business is very transactional, and a big shift that happened in my world was to build things with a relational point of view. As cliche as the saying goes, folks have to know, like, and trust you before they actually do business with you. And it's even more important online because you aren't meeting folks face to face. So it's important to care about who the person is on the other end of the conversation. You know, early on, it can be easy to focus on the sales and making money, completely normal as we're all in this to make profit. But if you can start with a nothing in return mindset and one of what can you do for your people to help them achieve something in their world so they can build confidence in how you can help them, it will reward you much higher in the long term. So the way I build relationships is one primary place, and that's over in Messenger. You know, once folks have joined my group and receive a welcome message with the next steps, we can dive into a convo, right? And here you can diagnose who folks are, okay, where they are in their business, how they actually got here, you know, what it is they do, how they do things, what challenges they have specifically in their business and process, etc., what solutions they're looking for, you know, their goals and hopes with their online business, where they're placed with their budget, etc. Now, there isn't a one-size-fits-all scenario with your audience. It will always come down to both their problem and solution awareness, and folks can fall into different buying buckets based on that, right? I've had folks come into my world and become paying clients in under 8 days, and others that hit go time well over a year being in my world. And now this is where your content will play a vital role in nurturing your audience and gives them the opportunity to raise their awareness with if and how you can help them, so that when the timing is right, they will naturally reach out to take the next step with a very low pressure approach. A lot of folks use strategy and sales calls as part of their relationship building process, which can and does work very well depending on what your process actually looks like. But personally, this is something that I really wanted to remove completely from my process because number one, I have challenges with time because of electricity and internet, and so it's not a reliable resource. Number two, I really don't like the high pressure that comes with calls and the arm wrestle that ensues while you try to convince folks to take the next step. So because of leveraging content on the front end of the business and letting folks get to know over long periods of time who you are, what you know, and how you can specifically help them, and really gaining clarity through conversation on who they are, what their specific needs are, and if you can actually help them, right? Then when the time comes to actually make an offer, it's normally a simple convo back and forth with a complimentary Google Doc, or if you prefer, a VSL. And if the timing isn't right, your audience can go back into your high value content and training to continue down the path until they become a paying client, right? Which leads me into the offers. Now, because you're learning specific skills and building a personal brand of your own, it will not matter what you sell or market. You know, over the last couple of years, I've sold a slew of different products and services, and that's anything from low ticket affiliate offers, high ticket affiliate offers, coaching, consulting, sold courses, masterminds, 5-day events, softwares, tools, memberships. And as we head into this new season, there's been a shift in my own resources again, and there are a few primary offers that will be my driving force to 7 figures. Now, the great part is you can start to package your offers in a multiple of ways as you go through different cycles in your business, and we'll definitely have a variation of things as we progress. You know, at the start of this roadmap, I mentioned that it seemed crazy even to get to 7 figures and now close on multi, but it's only crazy if you don't have a plan and strategy to actually go and execute it. And a powerful tool you can use in any goal that you want to achieve is to actually reverse engineer it. So for example, let's say 6 figures a year is the goal. You have a variation of different products ranging from $33 all the way to $12,000. How many sales are you going to need to achieve it? Now let's use conservative numbers and base this on an $1,000 product. You're going to need 100 sales throughout the year, which breaks down to 8.33 per month and 2 per week. Now it doesn't sound so crazy, right? Now if you look at it even further, how many people would you need to talk to make those sales? Now, based on my own closing rate at the moment, which is nothing astronomical to be fair, I actually only close 1 out of 10 conversations, which could actually be better, especially if my follow-up game was better and something else that I can really optimize on. It would make it 20 conversations that I would need to be having per week, which is 80 per month and 960 per year. Okay, which is interesting stats because in my first year of the strategy, I grew my group to just over 1,000 folks before I did a massive purge, which actually proves the numbers never lie. Let's take it one step further, just because I'm on a roll and I actually love numbers. But how many offers then would you need to make to actually make those sales? Now, sales stats say you need to present an offer at least 8 times before your lead is ready to move. And based on that, you'd need to make 7,680 offers per year, which is 640 a month and 160 a week. Now, I just want to mention that this doesn't actually just need to be monetary offers and can include invitations to folks to get their hands on a resource or some sort of training. Now, for example, at the time of recording this, I already have 29 folks on a waiting list that are going to be receiving it. And no doubts that's going to shake out to well over 100 folks once I actually put this out on a few platforms. Now at the top of this video, or at the bottom of this video, depending on where you're actually watching this, there's going to be a complimentary doc. Now, a bit of a selfish plug. Inside that doc, there are numerous options for folks to take a look at different offers and services, and has multiple touch points, and it's all going to count towards the end goal, right? So let's chat about my offer suite. So firstly, we'll chat about Hunters Content Bootcamp. Now, this was the very first course I created, and it's for folks who already have a high ticket offer and have been struggling to make conversions, or currently creating and posting content for weeks on end, but unable to generate quality leads or consistent cash flow. And it reveals the exact advanced content strategies I used in my business to build it to 6 figures. And although it was initially going to be a 10-month bootcamp, I've now opened it up to lifetime access and continue to support clients with all of their content challenges and deliver on things that are actively working in my own business that they can test and use in their own process. Now, there's a few ways that folks can go ahead and lock that in, and that's either going to be on a one-time payment. There's a financing option for 10 months. Folks can grab a bundle deal where they get monthly membership with both Hunters Content Bootcamp and Group Juice and all of its complimentary offers. And occasionally I open up limited spots to purchase singular modules from the actual bootcamp itself. The next product in my suite is Group Juice, where it all started, and where I highly encourage folks who are absolutely brand new to start, as this is a business in a box no matter what it is you sell. It's given hundreds of folks the clarity and know-how when it comes to building their own unique business online, adding anywhere from 10K to 100K to their bank accounts, either as affiliates, coaches, content creators, while removing the tedious tasks that they actually hate in their business. And there's a few ways folks can lock that in as well. There's an option for a one-time payment. There's also a financing option for 9 months, or folks can nab it on a monthly membership. The next offer is Group Juice Core Accelerator. You know, as I mentioned a bit earlier on in the roadmap, I was invited to join the Group Juice team and help with a bunch of things behind the scenes. Part of that includes a pre-qualification of the folks that could be the right fit for the entire Group Juice suite of products, including the opportunity to jump on the waitlist for 6 months of one-to-one coaching with Flip and Nate. Now, there's my own coaching program called Hunters Den, and this is currently under a bit of construction and will be part of future plans. You know, I originally launched my own coaching offer, but because of lack of resources with electricity and internet, it was really bad timing. And coaching is something that I love about my business model, and helping my clients create 6 figures overall the last year has been rewarding as anything. And I currently have a waitlist for that, and there are always going to be limited spots available because it is a one-to-one coaching offer. Now, I do have other secondary offers outside of this to meet folks where they're at, but they're not really part of the overall sales goal, and that will come down to softwares, different tools, things like that. So in closing, folks, a few final things before I go. As you embark on the next season in your business, be it the first step and getting started from scratch, or moving towards your first 10K or your next 100K in your business, number one, make sure that what you do is in alignment with where you want to go, and that you believe 100% in the products and services you market and sell online. Number two, don't be product and service centric, but rather build your brand around you, okay? And move with a nothing in return mindset. Always lead with relationships first. Number three, remove the parts of the business you hate and inject the things that make you feel good. You know, once I actually removed sales calls, cold DMs, mass adding friends, and injected a process where it was a really low pressure sales system, I really started to have more fun in my business, which leads me to number four, which is really just always keep things simple and have fun in your business. No one's looking for a new job, right? There's obviously going to be things in the background that are business related and take a bit more effort, but primarily you've just got to be having fun in your business. Otherwise, what is the point, right? Number five, get excited about investing in yourself and your business so you can actually grow and scale things. The person who gets you to your first 10K online is not going to be the same one who gets you to 100K, and so on, right? So making my first $2,500 investment was scary as anything at the time. That was a full year's salary I used to make in my 9 to 5, and had to sell a ton of things that both myself and my friends didn't need to accumulate that money. But now I'm over 30K invested in my business. However, the rewards far outweigh the fear, right? Number six, get around support, coaching, and community. You will be very lucky to stay close to the fire without it, right? Make sure your coach or your mentor aligns with your core values as a human, and it's really going to count long term. Okay, number seven, do the unsexy shit for longer periods of time, right? Not much has changed in my business in the last 2 years, and I'm about to double down on that whole process yet again. And my favorite quote right now, which I pulled out of the hat when I was writing content about 2 weeks ago, was, when everybody else follows a carrot, dig deeper roots, right? Number 8, ask questions, right? And when you think you've asked too many, ask some more. You cannot move forward without that type of feedback. Number 9, celebrate all of your wins, right? Be they big, small, monetary, non-monetary, and document the shit out of all of it. Amazing when you look back a few years from now at how far you've actually come down the road. Number 10, always remember why you started, right? You will want to give up a million times, I can guarantee it. But as woo-woo as it sounds, when you know exactly why you started this, you will actually keep going. Now, folks, I hope this was insightful for all of you. If and when you're ready to chat more about one of the offers or strategies you've heard about today, I'm only a message away and will be more than happy to help. So for now, I'm out. Have a fantastic rest of your week, and thanks for tuning in.